Hi fashion lovers, you're welcome to the channel today. This video is on how to cut and sew a dartless transparent corset. So this is one simple and stress-free way to cut a corset if you don't want so many darts and you also want it to snatch. And guess what? This video is so beginners friendly. If you've never even made a corset before, but you do know how to sew, then you should watch this video to the end. And kindly subscribe to the channel if you're yet to. So guys, without further ado, let's get on to the main purpose of this video. So before you begin to draft your corset, you need to first of all take your basic measurements. And here I've gone ahead to mark my bust point line of 10 inches, my under bust line of 13.5 inches, and the half length of 17 inches, and the top length is 23 inches. And then on the starting line of the pattern paper, I took half of my shoulder and I used 3 by 3 for the neck width and the neck depth. Then I also went ahead to come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slant, and then I marked my arm side. Okay, so guys, if you've been following this channel for a long time, then you should know how to do all of these basic things. So on the chest line, I've gone ahead to take quarter of my bust measurement, and now on the waistline, instead of marking quarter of my waist measurement of 8 inches, I'll be going in by half an inch. So I'll be marking 7.5 inches, okay? So the calculation is this. If you're taking out half inch from your front waistline, it means you're taking out a total of 2 inches because your pattern is going to be folded into two for the front and the back. But if you're taking out 1 inch from your waistline, it means you're snatching away 4 inches. Okay, so just go ahead to make that calculations. And then for the top length, I took quarter of my hip measurements. And then after marking quarter of my hip measurement, I came in by 1.5 inch. So you can either do this, take quarter of your hip measurement and come in by 1.5 inch, or you can just measure the roundness of where your top length is going to stop. So like I said, for the top length, you take quarter of your hip measurement and come in by 1.5 inch, or you can just go ahead to take the round circumference of 23 inches of where your top length stops, okay? So the next thing I'll be doing is to go ahead to connect the points together. So guys, to remove the sharpness on the waist part, because your waist is not like that, what you're going to do is go up by half an inch and come down by half an inch from the half length. And then on both points, you're going to take quarter of your waist measurement, your snatched waistline of 7.5, okay? So after doing that, I'll go ahead now to reconnect the line. So after connecting it, you're going to blend that half length part. So this is how we should look after you're done. So guys, after doing this, the next thing I'll be doing now is to take my bust span, which is also my nipple to nipple measurement. So mine is 7.5. You're going to divide it into two and then mark the point on your bust point line, okay? And then you're also going to do the same thing for your top length. And then afterwards, you're going to use your straight ruler to connect both points together. So guys, the next thing I'll be doing is divide what I have on my shoulder into two, and then I'll mark a point there. Next, I'll connect that point to my bust point. So this is totally optional. You can choose not to do this, but I just like to work with my lines. So guys, after doing that, you're going to measure your cleavage line. So how open you want your corset to be. And I went ahead to make mine 7 inches. So this is the reason why I said I like working with my lines so that I'll be able to know where my cleavage line is going to be. So after taking that 7 inches for your cleavage line, now you need to get the cup bridge, which is the middle part of your corset. So I will just go ahead to mark 1 inch upwards from my chest line, as you can see. Okay, so I actually used half inch. So you're going to measure what you like, okay? So from my shoulder to that point will be 8.5 inches, which is going to be the middle part of my corset. It is also called a corset bridge, a cup bridge, okay? And then on that point, I'll go ahead to mark half an inch, okay? And then I'll just go ahead to square that part. So guys, on the underbust, I'll also be coming in by half an inch, and then I'll connect that to the corset bridge. I don't know why I keep calling it corset, the core bridge on top, okay? So guys, the next thing I'll be doing now is on my hammer part, I'll come down by half an inch. So this is just going to be my yoke part. If you want to add a yoke to it, then you're just going to connect that to form your yoke. So guys, just take note of these 3 points that you see me marking. You'll be connecting the points together to form your yoke on the top part, okay? But before doing that, we need to get the cup on the bottom. So on the bust point line, as you can see, I came in by 1 inch. So another way to do it is you can measure what you have from your bust point line to the bust bridge, and then you bring it to the side and add 1 inch, okay? Or you can just go ahead to come in by 1 inch from the side part, as you can see. So any which way you want to do it, you're still going to arrive at the same calculation. So what I'm going to do next now is to connect all of these points together to form the curve on the bottom. So guys, what I'm going to do now is to connect from my underbust to the curve bridge like so. And then we're also going to be connecting this part for the sweetheart neckline. On the side bust, you're also going to use your curved ruler to connect from that 1 inch point that we marked earlier to the underbust as shown. So guys, the next thing to do is to draw out this part for my yoke. You can see the way I'm placing my ruler. So I first of all use the pen to get the curve, and then I'll use my marker to make it visible. And then next I'll extend the cup part to the yoke part like so. And then lastly, what you're going to do is on your top length line, you're going to go up by 1 inch, and then you from that point you're going to draw a curve to meet with the original line. So this is also optional. You can choose to leave your corset like that if you want to. So guys, this basically is the whole drafted dartless corset for the front. So one thing you're going to take note of before you cut your pattern is your cup height. So from your underbust to your cleavage line is going to be your cup height. So I have about 6.75 as my cup height. So I'll just go ahead to write it down somewhere so that I don't forget. And then next you're going to take your cup width. So that is starting from your bust bridge line to the end of your corset cup. So that is 8 inches wide, okay? So guys, after doing that, now you can label your patterns and cuts. So guys, tell me in the comment section if you feel this is one simple way to cut a corset, because with this pattern now, you're not going to be stressed out in cutting multiple panels for your corset, and you're still going to be snatched. So what I'm just doing now is to draw out style lines. So I'm not cutting out this out, but it's just going to be a guideline when I want to fix my boning channels. So I'll go ahead now to cut out my pattern. So just watch closely and see how I do that. So guys, this is how the pattern looks after cutting it. We're going to be drawing out another cup that is going to fit this underbust part, okay? So guys, one thing you're going to take note of is the length of your underbust. So I place my tape like so. You can see the way I place my tape to measure what I have on the underbust. So after measuring it, I have about 14.5 inches. So the measurements that we took, which are the cup height, the cup width, and the underbust line, are what we're going to use to draft out our cup part, okay? So now let's go ahead to draw the back pattern. So guys, now we're going to draw the back pattern. I've gone ahead to take half of my shoulder and 1 inch for my shoulder slant. Then for the neck, I used 3 inches for the width and 1.5 inch for the neck depth. Then I also went ahead to take my arm cycle length And on the chest line, I took quarter of my bust measurement already. And also on the half length, I also went ahead to take 7.5 inches for my waistline. And for the top length, I marked quarter of my hip measurement and then I came in by 1.5 inch, just like I did for the front pattern. So you're just going to connect the 3 points together, just as you can see. So guys, as you can see, since I use this part of my ruler to draw out the side of the body, the waist part does not look sharp. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do is take my opening for the back. So on the chest line, I came in by 2 inches. And then on the top line, I came in by 1.5 inches, okay? So I'll be using my ruler to connect both points together. So this is going to be my opening for the back where my eyelets is going to be. So you can choose to do anything you want to do. You can choose to increase it or reduce it if you don't want it to be too open. So guys, the next thing I'll be doing now is to do my yoke styling for the back neck. So I went ahead to come down by 1 inch from the neck depth and then I came in by 2 inches on the chest line. Then I'll just go ahead to connect both points together. So this is how I want the yoke to be. It will be button on that neckline part. So I connected from my armhole to the opening part. So guys, remember that on the front part, I came down by half an inch after the armhole. So I'll go ahead to do the same thing for this back. So this is how my yoke is going to be. So guys, before I go ahead to cut, I'll also be labeling my patterns and drawing out my style line for my bone casing. And then lastly, on the top length, I will go up by 1 inch, just like I did for the front. So you need to do the same thing for the back so that when you join your patterns, the side parts are going to be equal, okay? So guys, just watch closely and see the way I cut out the back pattern. Let me take you back to a time when love was as precious as diamonds. Where if you search, you would find it. I know that times have changed, but so this is how the front and the back pattern looks after cutting it out. So the next thing I want to do now is to draw out the cup part. So I have a fresh pattern paper that I'm going to use to draw the cup part. So first thing is I will be drawing out a starting line on the top part, and I also want to make it equal. I'll also be drawing another line. Okay, this is just to make my pattern to be equal. So guys, like I said, the measurements that you will be needing to draw out your cup is your cup width, the cup height, and the underbust line. So after measuring my cup width, I went ahead to mark it and then I'll add 2 inches to it, okay? So guys, basically whatever you have as your cup width, you're going to mark it and add 2 inches. If you have 9 inch as your cup width, you're going to add 2 inches to it. So don't worry, it is not going to be too wide. After sewing your cup, it's going to be accurate. So guys, I just want this to be a box, so I'm just going ahead to mark the same 10 inches as the length, okay? So I'll go ahead now to rule a straight line to connect the points together. So after doing that, I just went ahead to label the patterns, the center front, the underbust, and the side front, just the way it is on the cup. So from the center front, I'm going to measure what I have from that middle point to my bust bridge. So I have 3.75, but I'm just going to make it 4 inches. Or you can just go ahead to take your bust span divided by 2. So I'll just connect a straight line to the top. And then on the underbust, I'll be marking 1.25 on both sides on the underbust. So that's going to be my underbust tightening. And then you're also going to measure from your underbust to your bust point line. So you can see the way I'm referring to that cup part, okay? So that I don't make a mistake. So I have 3.5 from my underbust to my nipple point. So I'm just going ahead to rule a straight line on that point there. So guys, if you find any part confusing, just go ahead to watch and then I'm sure you'll be able to grab. So like I said, on my underbust, I used 1.25 And then I'll just go ahead to connect that point to my nipple point using my curved ruler. And then on the bust span line at the center front, I will go ahead to mark 1 inch on both sides of the line, just as you see me doing. I'll also be doing the same thing for the side part, 1 inch on both sides. And then I'll use my curved ruler to connect the points to meet with my nipple point, as you can see. So guys, after doing this, I'll also be using my curved ruler to connect from that dart leg to my under bust, and I'll also do the same thing for the center front. So guys, now that we've done this, like I said, we need the measurements on the under bust. So in case you've forgotten, like I've forgotten, you can just go ahead to measure what you have again. So I have 14 inches. So what I'm going to do now is to measure what I have presently now on my under bust. So I'll start measuring from the dart leg. Take note of the other darts that you have on the under bust, okay? And then what I have is 10 inches in total now. So basically, in case you did not get that, when taking your measurements on your pattern paper, you're going to jump the darts, okay? So I have 10 inches in total, but my underbust equals 14 inches. So I'm just going ahead to share the both of them into two. So the remaining extra I need is 4 inches. So on this center front, I marked 1.5 inch, and then on the side part, I marked 2.5 inch. So making it 4 inches in total. So I just went ahead to use my ruler to connect the both points together. So guys, don't mind that the top part is looking straight. After joining your cup is going to be deep, okay? And then the top part is going to be curved and it's going to fit directly on the yoke part. Or what you can do is, if you want it to be more curvy, you can go up by half an inch and then just go ahead to connect the points together just as you see me doing to form a curve. So guys, if you're going to increase it like so, also take note of the length of your cup. So I have 6.5 inches as the original cup length, which is already what I have if I'm making use of the straight line. But if you're going to increase it just like I've done, it's going to give me about 7.2 inch, which is also okay. But I'll just be maintaining the straight line, okay? So the next thing I'll be doing now is to measure the top of the cup, which is also my yoke part. So you can also see the way I'm placing my tape to measure it to get the accurate inch. So I have about I have about 9.5 inches. And then I also went ahead to measure what I have on the top of my cup. I have almost 10.5 inch. So to correct that, I'll go in by half an inch on both sides, which is going to give me the exact inch I need. And then I'll be using my ruler to connect that to the dart leg on the center front and also on the side front. So guys, this is how to draw out your cup part. So as you can see, all of these lines, I'll be cutting them out to get my cup. So guys, this is how it's going to be. I just went ahead to label my pattern so that I will know the pieces that will be joined together. So guys, if you'd like to see the sewing tutorial of this Dartless corset, please give this video a thumbs up and also consider subscribing to the channel if you find this video helpful. See you guys in our next video.